What's cooking, everybody? Dave Mays here with Kinotika, and this is the new GoPro Hero 8 Black. So yes, this is the GoPro Hero 8 Black, but this is a beta unit that I am borrowing from PolarPro, the company that I work with doing the podcast Golden Hour, and they've designed some incredible filters for this brand new GoPro, and they've done an incredible job, and I'll go into more detail about that later. But unfortunately, this GoPro here does not work. It's actually a complete dummy unit. I'm able to hold it and see the little things that it has, like these little teeth here on the bottom that you can use now instead of using the case. You can see how the whole thing is laid out with the screen and the new lens mechanism, but unfortunately this is not a working unit, so I actually had to place an order on the GoPro Hero 8 just like you guys on GoPro.com, and hopefully I'll get that GoPro as soon as possible, and I'll make a full review looking at the footage from this as soon as I get the GoPro in my hands. But what I can do is run down the list of specs and the advancements that they've done with the new GoPro Hero 8 and tell you all about this brand new GoPro. So first off, this thing has a completely new case and design. It does look similar to the previous GoPros when you just look at it at first glance, but GoPro has completely redesigned this thing from the ground up. You've lost a couple of things like the USB-C port and the HDMI port on the side here, but they've done something that I really love, and I think a lot of GoPro users are going to be thankful for it, and I mentioned it earlier in this video, and that is the little teeth that pop up from the bottom here. Look at that, isn't that so cute? It's so cool. So you don't need to use a frame anymore with a GoPro. They say that this thing is really rugged, it's really solid. It does seem to be pretty solid. It's using little magnets to kind of click those in there, which is really nice, really well designed piece here. Because we're missing some of the features that we're used to, like the HDMI port and the USB-C port on the side here, GoPro is doing some additional accessories that can go with the GoPro Hero 8 that are pretty sweet. There is this media mod, I think it's $79, and it gives you a shotgun mic on the front here. It gives you back an HDMI port. It also gives you a mic input jack as well as a USB-C loop through that you can use to charge the camera as you're using it. I think for any content creators out there who want to shoot good audio stuff and have the ability to run your GoPro as long as possible with that USB-C loop through, and with the potential of using an HDMI display, or maybe even want to pick up the flip up display that GoPro is now selling as well that can plug into that media mount, then it's going to be a great accessory to get. The next feature in the GoPro Hero 8 Black that I'm really excited about is the ability to do linear mode in the 4K. Now I know this is kind of a nerdy video feature, but I was shooting a lot of my stuff on the GoPro Hero 7 in 2.7K because I wanted that linear mode instead of the wide mode. If you're not familiar with GoPro's terminology and what this actually means, basically the wide mode is kind of a fisheye looking effect with the GoPro, and the linear mode kind of takes that warp out of the wide angle, making the image still wide angle but more rectilinear or more kind of normal looking. It doesn't look fisheye and GoPro, if you will. Unfortunately, the previous models could only do linear in 2.7K and below. Now with the GoPro Hero 8 Black, we get linear all the way through the 4K modes, which is great. GoPro's also added a higher bitrate with the GoPro Hero 8 with 100 megabits per second in the Pro Tune mode. That's going to be another great addition for any professionals out there wanting to get the most out of the GoPro. So the DJI Osmo Action had a great feature in it, and that was presets. You can make custom presets, so like a 4K mode, a 1080p slow motion mode, a photo mode, time lapse, all these types of things. You could build your own custom presets, and that was really great for people in terms of just getting to what you want as fast as possible. GoPro never had anything like that until now. With the new Hero 8, you can actually use what they call capture presets and build your own presets for those modes that you want. So for me, I want to have a mode for 4K 60, I want to have a mode for 4K 24, I want to have a mode for 120 1080p. Now I can just build a list of all my favorite things all in the little capture presets, and they also have some that are pre-built if you don't want to build them yourself. HyperSmooth, that's kind of the main gold when it comes to the new GoPros. The Hero 7 really advanced their stabilization with HyperSmooth, and they've apparently done an even better job with the GoPro Hero 8. Now of course I haven't tested it myself, I've just seen footage online, and it does look like HyperSpoon, or HyperSmooth as they call it, 2.0 is really incredible. HyperSpoon, they should call it that instead. Now obviously again, I can't really speak much to this because I haven't been able to test it myself, but the footage that I've seen online does look very gimbal-like worthy quality, and they've even added a more advanced feature on top of HyperSmooth 2.0, and it's called Boost, which reminds me of Adidas, because you know they have Boost in their shoes. Boost mode, it crops in on your image a little bit more than just the standard HyperSmooth mode, but apparently it does even more stabilization. This reminds me a lot of the Canon electronic stabilization that's in the EOS R. There's like normal and then like epic, and I never shoot on the epic mode because it's just too much of a crop and it's kind of too stabilized. So I need to test this and see for myself which mode I'm going to want to use. I'll probably stick to just the standard HyperSmooth mode, but honestly, having HyperSmooth on all these action cameras from the GoPro Hero 7 and the what do they call it, on the Osmo Action, these stabilization options on these cameras have gotten so incredible that you really do not need a gimbal anymore. Of course, a gimbal is going to give you better options all the time, but having it built in, just a camera that you can just pull out of your pocket and start shooting, is really handy dandy. And they've enabled HyperSmooth 2.0 on all the resolutions now, so you can go all the way from 4K down to, do they still do 480p on this thing? I doubt it. But that also includes the slow motion option, so if you're shooting 1080p at 120 frames per second or even higher, you can get HyperSmooth on all modes. Now, the unit that GoPro gave PolarPro for their testing to make the ND filters did not come with a battery, and it is a dummy unit, so this doesn't even turn on. But the GoPro Hero 8 does have a new battery, but it's actually the same design as the previous one, so you can actually use your old batteries with the GoPro Hero 8. It's just the new battery has, I guess, more juice in it because this is using higher processing to do all this extra stabilization, all this extra resolution magic. So you do want to use the new GoPro Hero 8 battery as much as you can, because that's going to give you the best performance. But if you've got a bunch of batteries laying around, you can use it. There's just not going to be as much juice as the new ones. Based on the charts that GoPro has put out, it looks like you get roughly an hour of battery life, you know, depending on the modes that you're shooting in. Of course, if you're shooting 4K 60, it's going to be less than if you're shooting 1080 24, but around an hour of battery life, which is, I guess, decent. But honestly, GoPro battery life has always been kind of the big downfall of these cameras. There's a lot of power packed into these tiny little things, and it's hard to get a lot of juice in there. So I would recommend using like a Mophie or some sort of battery brick that you would normally use to charge your phone with. Keep that in your bag so that you can juice this up when you're not using it. You can also plug it in as you're using it and it charges itself, so that's a really great way to use it. Maybe you're shooting a wedding and you just want a wide angle shot with a GoPro. You can put this in a creative location and just plug it in with the battery brick, and that'll be nice. You do have the ability to plug it in without the media case, by the way. You just open this up here. There's a little USB-C port right here, and you can actually have the GoPro mounted on a tripod like so, and the door opens up to the side here, so you can just have a little cable coming out, boom, right there. There is a live streaming on this camera. If you're a streamer of some sort, yeah, I guess you could use a GoPro. You can go up to 1080p, and it uses the app, uses your data on your phone, so that's kind of cool. You can just turn this on and point at yourself and use this as a streaming device. Will I ever do that? Probably not. Will other people do it? Probably not. But it's a feature that exists. It's a thing. I don't know. Comment below if you do this. But basically, the upgrade there is that the old version could only do 720p. This one does 1080p. So, yay. Time Warp 2.0 built into the GoPro Hero 8. I never used the Time Warp feature. It's just kind of like a hyperlapse kind of thing. The big advancement here with Time Warp is there's an automatic mode, so it kind of figures out what speed to do your clip at, depending on how long you want the clip to be and stuff. It kind of reminds me of the iPhone. Their time-lapse feature is pretty nice. You just hit go and then it just kind of automatically stitches the thing together and just kind of throws together a time-lapse based on what they think would be the best frame rate. So that's great. Takes a lot of the guesswork out. If you want to do any type of hyperlapse, that's probably going to be a nice upgrade for you because it requires way less math, and less math equals happier Dave.
So get off your ass, let's do some math. Math.
There's a new lens. It's 2 times stronger, see? I'm hitting it as hard as I can, and it's really strong. 2 times stronger. Basically, the way they've done this is with the new redesign, the lens is kind of built into the body itself. They say that it's a little bit thicker now. The lens itself is thicker than the previous one. This one's 2 millimeters thick versus the other one, which is like 1.6 millimeters or something like that. I might not be totally perfect on that, but apparently it is a thicker lens, which equals stronger, better, faster. So unfortunately, because this thing is not removable, unlike the previous version, you're gonna have to send this in to GoPro if you get it scratched or dinged and you want to replace it. So that's a big hassle, and I wonder if they did that on purpose to make some more money. I don't know. This is the new PolarPro GoPro Hero 8 Shutter Collection Kit. This is gonna kind of give you everything that you need, and it comes in at $59.99. Everything in here is pretty much what you would need for proper video motion. Now, on previous GoPros, PolarPro made filters that would just go on the GoPro itself. You could actually remove the filter from the GoPro and then click it in. Now we don't have that option, and how do you get a filter on here? I don't know. PolarPro invented this incredible little contraption here. This little kit here actually loops around to the back of the GoPro, and then this part right here is a magnet that has super strong earth magnet kind of technology, and the filter just clicks on there perfectly. Now, Jeff from PolarPro told me that they did some crazy high endurance testing with the filter and with this adapter. They were out in the sand dunes running around with the GoPro mounted to it, and this did not come off. It's obviously designed for high action sports. So let me show you how it actually goes on the new GoPro. You put this part on the back first, and then it just clicks on the front, just like so. It's a perfect match made in heaven. Look at that. And then you just take the filter and boom. You now have an ND filter on the GoPro Hero 8. The reason that you would want an ND filter is to help you stay on your 180-degree shutter angle rule. These are actually shipping right now, so if you order the GoPro Hero 8 and the PolarPro filters at the same time, you're probably going to get the PolarPro filters before you get your GoPro. The GoPro is shipping October 15th. And these are shipping like right now. You should check out PolarPro's video. They did a whole video talking about this filter kit and why you need to use filters with GoPros. So I'll link that in the description below and the icon above. Definitely check out this filter with the GoPro Hero 8. It's kind of the perfect combo. Another upgrade with the GoPro Hero 8 is apparently GoPro has tweaked their color science with the GoPro Hero 8. They've been tweaking their color science for years. I remember when the GoPro Hero 5 went to the 6, and then there's like the 6 Plus. The 6 Plus, kind of like one of the big features of that one was the color got better. With the 7 Black, it looked really good as well. And again, from the reviews that I've seen online and the footage I've seen online of the GoPro Hero 8, it is incrementally better. Now, is it a huge difference? Can you even notice a difference if you're just watching it without any context of the other one? Probably not. But any upgrade is better than none. I want my skin tones to look good. I want the greens to look green. I want the sky to look blue. I want everything to look crunchy and good. And lastly, they've upgraded the mics on the GoPro. Even though you can get the accessory that adds a shotgun mic and a 3.5mm jack on it, the microphones built into it have gotten better. So as you can see right here on the front, there's a microphone. On the side, there's a microphone. And then on the bottom right there, I don't know if you can see the little holes, but there is a microphone on the bottom as well. But the front mic in particular has gotten some upgrades. They've done some kind of magic voodoo algorithm stuff to kind of focus the audio directly onto your voice as you're talking. It also cancels out other noises like wind or crowd noise and things. And then finally, GoPro also announced the new Hero Max, which is their 360 camera. It's got a little screen on the front. It looks pretty cool. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. I might do a review if you guys are interested in it. But I did order a GoPro Hero 8 from GoPro. I should be receiving it as soon as they ship it. But I'm also having a baby between now and then, so I might not be able to get my review out as quickly as I would like to. But stay tuned for that. I will certainly update you guys and do a full review of the GoPro. This video is just me talking about the specs and the things that I like about out this new GoPro. And if you're interested in picking up both the GoPro and the PolarPro filters, then click the link in the description below. I've got affiliate links there. When you click those links, it really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate it if you guys buy it through that link. No pressure, but it does help me because I do this for a living, so thank you so much for clicking on that link. Once again, I'm Dave Mays, this is Kinotika, and we'll see you next time. GoPro.